For 8 years the girl touched his ear. Every doctor said the same thing. Nothing we can do. His billionaire father spent millions of dollars on him, but always they were disappointed. Then the thing happened that will shock you. The Blackwood Foundation headquarters occupied the entire 50th floor of the gleaming tower in Midtown Manhattan. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered panoramic views of the city, but Jackson's attention was fixed on the holographic display hovering above the conference table. Current deployment stands at 8,742 devices across 43 countries, reported Dr. Amara Chen, the foundation's head of global operations. We're on track to exceed our first-year goal by nearly 15%. Jackson nodded, studying the glowing dots that represented each child who had received the neural hearing interface. And the waiting list? Dr. Chen's expression sobered. Still growing faster than production. We're looking at approximately 30,000 eligible children worldwide. That's unacceptable, Jackson said, though his tone held determination rather than anger. We need to scale up manufacturing without compromising quality. The new facility in Singapore will help, Maria added, entering the conference room with Dr. Vega. Both women had transformed over the past year, Maria from household staff to the foundation's director of patient advocacy, and Dr. Vega from government researcher to chief scientific officer. Singapore adds capacity, yes, Dr. Vega agreed, but we're still constrained by the specialized components. Each neural interface requires precision manufacturing that can't be rushed. Jackson ran a hand through his hair, now streaked with more silver than a year ago. The stress of balancing the Foundation's humanitarian mission with the military partnership had taken its toll, but he regretted nothing. What about the cost per unit? He asked. Are we making progress there? Maria pulled up additional data on the holographic display. We've reduced production costs by 22% without sacrificing quality. The subsidized pricing model is working. Families pay based on their means, from zero to market rate. And Blackwood Enterprises covers the difference, Jackson finished. It was a model that had initially shocked his board of directors, using corporate profits to subsidize the foundation's work, but the results spoke for themselves. Not only had they helped thousands of children, but the company's reputation had soared, attracting top talent and ethical investors. As the meeting concluded, Jackson's phone buzzed with a message from Lily's school. He smiled at the photo, his daughter standing proudly beside her science project, a model of the human ear with her own artistic flourishes. Family dinner tonight? Maria asked, noticing his expression as they walked toward his office. Wouldn't miss it, Jackson replied. Lily's been talking about her science fair all week. Mr. Blackwood, his assistant interrupted, appearing in the doorway. General Harmon is here. He says it's urgent. Jackson and Maria exchanged concerned glances. The general rarely made unscheduled appearances. Show him in, Jackson said, straightening his tie. General Harmon entered, his uniform impeccable but his expression grim. Blackwood, Mrs. Blackwood, he nodded to them both, acknowledging Maria's recent legal adoption of Lily and marriage to Jackson 6 months prior. What brings you here, General? Jackson asked, gesturing to the seating area. We have a situation, Harmon said, declining to sit. One of our operatives equipped with the military-grade neural interface has gone dark in Kazakhstan. We believe the technology may have been compromised. Maria's hand flew to her mouth. Compromised how? We're not certain, the general admitted. But intelligence suggests he was captured by the Kazakhstani military 3 days ago. If they reverse engineer the technology. They couldn't, Dr. Vega said firmly, joining them after overhearing from the hallway. The military adaptation is fundamentally different from the medical version. Even if they extract the device, the encryption can be broken with enough time and resources, Harmon interrupted. And Kazakhstan has both, along with a notorious disregard for international law. Jackson moved to his desk, pressing a button that activated privacy protocols, soundproofing the room and blocking electronic surveillance. What exactly are you asking of us, General? We need Dr. Vega and your technical team to develop a remote deactivation protocol. Something that will render the technology inert if tampering is detected. That wasn't part of our agreement, Jackson reminded him. Remote access to neural interfaces poses significant ethical concerns. This is a national security emergency, Harmon insisted. It's also a human being with our technology connected to their nervous system, Maria countered, her protective instincts flaring. Deactivation could cause neurological damage. The tension in the room was palpable as Jackson considered their options. Finally, he turned to Dr. Vega. Is there a middle ground? Something that would protect the technology without harming the operative? Dr. Vega thought for a moment. Possibly. We could develop a dormancy protocol, putting the interface into a hibernation state rather than deactivating it completely. It would protect the core technology while minimizing neurological impact. How quickly? Harmon pressed. 72 hours, minimum, Dr. Vega replied. And I'll need access to the exact specifications of the operative's device. You'll have everything you need, the general promised, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. Thank you. After Harmon departed, Jackson, Maria, and Dr. Vega remained in the office, the weight of the situation hanging over them. This is exactly what I feared, Maria said quietly. The technology that's helping children is now putting someone in danger. We knew the risks when we made the agreement, Jackson reminded her gently. But we also built in safeguards. The military applications are isolated from the medical program. For now, Maria said, her eyes meeting his. But where does it end, Jackson? Today it's a dormancy protocol. Tomorrow it could be something worse. Dr. Vega placed a comforting hand on Maria's shoulder. Which is precisely why we need to remain involved. If we had refused the partnership, the government would have developed this technology anyway, without our ethical oversight. The conversation was interrupted by Jackson's phone, a video call from Lily. He answered immediately, his expression softening at the sight of his daughter's face. Daddy. Mommy. I got first place. Lily exclaimed, her excitement palpable even through the screen. Ms. Peterson said my project was the most detailed in the whole 4th grade. That's wonderful, Mija. Maria beamed, momentarily setting aside her concerns. We can't wait to hear all about it at dinner. Can we have pizza to celebrate? Lily asked hopefully. Absolutely, Jackson agreed. Champion scientists deserve pizza. After ending the call, Jackson turned back to Dr. Vega. Develop the dormancy protocol, but with a strict limitation. It can only be activated with dual authorization from both military command and Blackwood oversight. That won't make the general happy, Dr. Vega noted. His happiness isn't my concern, Jackson replied firmly. The safety of the operative and the integrity of our technology are what matter. That evening, as promised, the Blackwood family gathered for pizza and celebration. Their penthouse, once a showcase of wealth and status, had transformed over the past year into a true home, filled with Lily's artwork, family photographs, and the comfortable chaos of a child's well-loved toys. And then Jimmy Peterson tried to say that his volcano was better, but it didn't even really explode, Lily explained between bites of pepperoni pizza. Mine had actual diagrams of how sound waves travel through the ear. That's my girl, Jackson said proudly. A scientist and an artist. As Lily continued recounting her triumph, Maria's phone buzzed with a message from Dr. Vega, initial protocol design complete. Testing begins tomorrow. All parameters within safety guidelines. Maria showed the message to Jackson, their eyes meeting in silent communication. They had built something miraculous together, not just a family, but a mission that was changing lives around the world. Yet with that miracle came responsibility and risk. Later that night, after Lily was asleep, they stood on their terrace overlooking the city, their spot, where so many important conversations had taken place. I keep thinking about that operative, Maria admitted, leaning against the railing. Somewhere in Kazakhstan, possibly being interrogated, with our technology in his head. Jackson wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Dr. Vega will develop a safe solution. And our security team is working with intelligence agencies to locate him. It's not just about this one situation, Maria said, turning to face him. It's about the future. The line between helping and harming gets thinner every day. Which is why we need to stay vigilant, Jackson agreed. The Foundation, the Oversight Committee, our research protocols, they're all designed to keep that line clear. Maria was quiet for a moment, gathering her thoughts. I've been thinking about something Dr. Vega mentioned last week, using the neural interface technology to help people with other conditions. Not just hearing loss, but visual impairments, spinal cord injuries. Expanding the mission, Jackson nodded. I've been considering the same thing. The potential is enormous. But so are the risks, Maria cautioned. Each new application creates new ethical questions. Jackson took her hands in his. Then we face those questions together, one by one. Just like we've done from the beginning. The next morning brought news. The operative had been located and extracted in a covert operation. The neural interface remained secure, and Dr. Vega's dormancy protocol wouldn't be needed after all. The crisis had passed, but it left a lasting impression on the Blackwood Foundation's approach to security. In the weeks that followed, Jackson and Maria implemented enhanced safeguards for all aspects of the neural interface technology. They established an independent ethics committee comprised of medical professionals, human rights advocates, and technology experts. Every new application, every modification to the existing technology, would require their approval. 6 months later, the Blackwood Foundation celebrated a milestone, the 15,000th child to receive a neural hearing interface. The ceremony took place in a children's hospital in Mexico City, bringing their journey full circle to Maria's homeland. Lily, now approaching her 6th birthday, stood beside her parents as they cut the ribbon on a new research center adjacent to the hospital. Her confidence had blossomed along with her language skills, and she addressed the crowd in fluent Spanish, a language she had been learning to honor her mother's heritage. Mi nombre es Lily Blackwood, she began, her pronunciation perfect. Hace 2 años, no podía oír nada. Ahora puedo oír todo. Gracias a mi mama y mi papa. My name is Lily Blackwood. 2 years ago, I couldn't hear anything. Now I can hear everything, thanks to my mom and dad. As applause erupted, a small boy in a wheelchair was brought forward, the 15,000th recipient. His neural interface had been activated that morning, and he was still adjusting to the flood of new sensations. His wide eyes and tentative smile reminded Jackson and Maria of Lily's first moments of hearing. The boy's mother, tears streaming down her face, embraced Maria. Gracias, she whispered. Mi hijo puede oír mi voz por primera vez. Thank you. My son can hear my voice for the first time. That night, in their hotel suite overlooking Mexico City, Jackson found Maria reviewing applications for the Foundation's next phase, neural interfaces for visual impairment. The ethics committee approved the preliminary research, she told him, her eyes bright with purpose. Dr. Vega thinks we could have a prototype within 18 months. Jackson sat beside her, taking in the woman who had transformed his life. No longer the quiet maid who blended into the background, Maria Blackwood had become a force for change, respected in medical circles, beloved by the families they helped, and still the same compassionate soul who had risked everything to help one little girl here. You know, he said, closing her laptop gently, when I built Blackwood Enterprises, I thought I was creating a legacy. But this, what we're doing now, this is what I want to be remembered for. Maria leaned her head against his shoulder. Not bad for a billionaire and his maid, huh? Jackson laughed, pulling her closer. Not bad at all. Outside their window, Mexico City pulsed with life and sound, a symphony that, thanks to their work, more children would experience each day. The journey that had begun with a desperate act of compassion had evolved into something neither of them could have imagined, a mission that would echo through generations, giving voice to those who had lived in silence. And it had all started with a maid's trembling hands, pulling out a small device that changed everything.